we're doing that.
I mean, you know, we do usually cast Eastalasia on these days, but it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, Today's Sunday? In the top right-hand corner of the map, swelling all the way in the top right-hand corner of Jagannatha LE. We, of course, have our blue Zerg player coming down from the land of Mexico. He has been training in Korea for a little while, but has unfortunately had to return to his homeland of Guadalajara. He is going to be representing Storm Gaming. We, of course, have Cham. No, wait. Team GP. No, wait.
And sporting in. Andrew, is Yaku drunk? Yaku is always drunk, mate. That's his secret.
Chivas.
Sporting in the bottom left-hand corner of Jagannatha LE, we have the Canadian Zerg player representing Storm Gaming. It is Bioice.
Is this logo spot messing me up?
What do you mean?
Does Cham have the Storm decal on your end?
Yes. So on NA, I believe Team GP don't have their logo.
Right. Okay.
So, yes, that is.
Whew.
No!
¿Por qué? Guess I'm staying on anyway.
That game, please, no.
Ay.
Oh, okay. He's back. For now, he is back. Oh boy.
But yeah, one of the last times I think we're gonna be able to we're gonna be able to cast Jagannatha. There we go.
Could hear you banging your desk.
Keep the rhythm, yeah.
Yes, it is going to be one of the last times, and we'll see what we see on it. Of course, if this was a different matchup, I would be expecting to see a bit of a queen walk across the map or something along those lines, but yeah, in a ZvZ, I should be seeing something a little bit more standard. I guess, for me, I'm curious to see what Bioice has to offer. My eyes are on him, because Cham, this is his tournament. He has won the majority. He's like the Miyamika for GPO, you know, like he's a champion, man. Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, I don't normally cast Battle of the Americas, right? The last time I casted Bota was probably 8-ish months ago. Last year, okay, more than 8 months ago. Every single time, I'm like, oh yeah, Cham's won this one and the one a week ago, and he's probably gonna win the one a week from now. After I finish casting, it's always a safe bet to bet on Cham.
It is, and typically the people to dethrone Cham are players like Trigger. Trigger has been doing very well recently.
Sunday like a week ago, right?
Yeah, exactly. Other than that, maybe Nina, maybe. But typically a Protoss player. When it comes to Zerg, it's a little bit more difficult to pull off. We've seen Jim beat Cham before, very rarely. So, yeah.
Both in ZvZ and in PvC.
Sure, yeah, why not? So yeah, I'm looking to see if we're gonna see like a Ling Flood, like an upgrade timing. Are we gonna see some mutas, like something? You have to bring something fancy to the table if you want to take out Cham.
Yeah, you can't rely on straight up macro play because otherwise, Cham is gonna overwhelm you with Lings.
Usually, I'll be so impressed if Bioice is able to pull off a more straight up standard game and take it to Cham. We'll see, as we do see like some pretty regular openings so far. No one skipped their Bailey nest. They're both being taken, plus on range from both players. The biggest difference is that Bioice is going for a much faster lair, and it is scattered.
Unfortunately, Cham is gonna have plenty of time to respond. Then again, single lair itself is a bit of a tell, but what does it tell?
Yeah, it's telling Cham that, okay, once that lair finishes, he needs to go in and scout again to see if there's a Spire, right? Like, that's a very fast lair. It's going to be for either Spire tech or for faster rage speed.
And it's going to be so important for Cham to figure out which one it's going to be, because it is going to impact his tech choices from here on out. We do see that once again, Bioice is grabbing a Spire, but mostly just for harass and for a little bit of map control early on. As the game continues, he wants to focus more on his roaches. So does Cham, though. And he's got a lot more down the line.
Yeah, like, this is very interesting from Cham. Fun fact, he's making a lot of roaches, and he is going to hit soon with +1. This is a very strong timing, and this hits fast because he doesn't have a lair, he's not going to have roach speed, he's skipping all that to just make roaches.
You know what? You can't get away with that. Shaganatha's got a couple speed zones.
Oh boy, this is gonna hit hard and fast. What does Bioice have to defend? He's trying to make spines now, but the lings are already here. He's already chipping through what he can. He's gonna get the queen.
Just like so. Nothing gonna be able to transfuse that spine. If it even finishes up, a couple of these roaches hatch, but they are very isolated, already down to half health.
Exactly, the first spine. Oh my god, he doesn't even care. He's just going for the natural. He doesn't even have to go for the third base.
Wow, he is going straight for the throat. And because of that choice to grab a Spire, you know, Bioice has a lot less resources to work with. He is going to have less, or fewer, I should say, roaches as a defense.
Yeah, that he is. Meanwhile, Cham, he had a really awkward engagement where a lot of his roaches honestly weren't fighting at all. So this is giving Bioice a better chance to defend, and it looks like with these reinforcements, he's going to pull it off. Like, Cham with some miscontrol there.
Yeah, the upgrades actually evened out by the time Cham was in the natural base. 7 drones go down here in the third base, which is a bit of a consolation for Cham. It's, you know, a little bit of damage. He gets himself a little ahead in the drone count. But now he really has to be worried for round 2.
Yeah, like, again, so much lost DPS on this gas, on this Bailiness as well. Like, the control wasn't there from Cham, and now Bioice, he's counterattacking with his own roach speed.
But how is the defensive setup for Cham? A decent concave, and I just noticed this light, as you pointed out. Bioice actually canceled his fire to get more resources to get those roaches out. So
wow,
that saved Bioice's life, but at the same time put him behind tech-wise, or at least put him even with Cham when it comes to tech.
It's also one of those things that because of the way that Cham engaged, Bioice didn't even need to cancel it. Like, like he was able to defend much easier, losing only a handful of workers and not much else. So yeah, because of that, I'm sure Bioice is kicking himself. Otherwise, he could already have mutas out on the map dealing damage. So Cham got a little bit lucky there.
Without a doubt. I mean, just like that, Bioice has given up what advantage he had earlier on. And now Cham has the advantage. He's making 10 mutalist. They're going to be out much quicker compared to Bioice's 7.
Exactly. The mutas are going to be moving out across the map, clearing out whatever overlords they can, gaining map control, and that also means that Bioice, he's not going to be able to do much with his own mutas.
Yeah, in a game of mutas, player with higher numbers is usually the favorite player.
Typically,
there's a little bit of micro you can do, right? As the player with lower mutas, and of course you can always try to get Carapace to mitigate that, but in general, numbers are quantity is a very important factor in muta versus muta.
Oh boy, that it is, and we'll see if Bioice can come back from this. I mean, there is a way for him to do so, is if he fights with queens and with spores. Even though he does have the lower muta counts, like, he can still find ways to have an advantage in the muta versus muta fight, if it happens.
I agree.
Speaking of, roaches just going across the map for Bioice. He's just throwing them away. He just wants to deal whatever damage he can.
Yeah, whatever damage he can while clearing up his supply to get more Mutalists out. But the roaches of Cham do turn around. 13 drones go down. That's a nice little bit of damage here.
Yeah, but this will prompt Cham to counterattack. So we'll see if Bioice can minimize the damage. No, the mutas are going to get caught out.
Oh, they get caught out. And they have to move through the Mutalist of Cham in their retreat as well. Cham is just chasing this Mutaforce down. And he's just completely skyrocketed when it comes to the army supply difference. He's basically got twice the supply.
Yeah, he basically reset the muta count there. Like, that was insane. I think 8 mutas went down. Meanwhile, there's the roach counterattack that we were talking about that Bioice forced, and now Bioice, because he lost all those roaches, he doesn't have enough to defend. He loses the 4th base, and now Cham is just taking control of everything. No, some more mutas are getting picked off.
Yeah, a little bit out of range of a Spore Crawler, and the Spore Crawler goes down regardless. Cham continuing to apply this pressure with his Mutalist. He already forces a cancel, or actually forces a kill on that 4th base earlier on. Bioice calls GG, and Cham will take game number 1.
GG. Well played. Cham does take the first game there. Oh, there was a world where maybe Bioice could have pulled something off with that fast Spire. But it was canceled. Feels bad, man.
Oh, man. Now we can only speculate.
Yeah. Again, it's one of those things where we don't blame him, right? Like, that roach push could have killed him. So he had to take it seriously.
Definitely. Unfortunately, taking it seriously was exactly what Cham wanted. Either way, as we already have our next map decided through the vetoes. Already have a lobby. Lucas y Sombras.
Lucas?
Yeah, Lucas.
Luca D?
Supply.
There you go. So we're diving into game numero dos here to find out who's going to be our first finalist. Meanwhile, if you want to tune into Sub vs. Jim Rising, then check out Jimbo's stream. As, again, I believe they're still...
will be in his POV.
True, will be.
They are, I don't know if they're in game 2 or game 3, but game 1 has finished regardless. We have a question coming down here from Duna.
You made the mistake.
Got a question here from my man here.
From my man in the chat.
What is Splash and what is it cost 10 grapes? Well, if we get a couple more bits, then, you can redeem that to see what happens. As we continue our series here on Lightshade LE, we're the top left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the top left-hand corner. We have the blue Zerg player already up 1-0 in this best-of-3 semifinals. He only needs un momento, por favor, to make it to the grand finales. He is going to be representing Team GP, but as long as we're on the NA server, also Sidestorm Gaming, apparently, he is Cham. From Mexico.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Lightshade LE, we have the Canadian Zerg player. He is red, representing Sidestorm Gaming. It is Bioice.
Now see, but if it's the Korean server, then he represents Team GP. I'm assuming that's how the team exchange works here for Team GP.
Every server, it's Team GP, mate. And yeah, we'll see how this opens up. Also, yes, I ran into that issue earlier, Yaku, where I was referring to someone in the chat, and I'm like, I'm not gonna say that, and you fell into the trap, mate. Oh god. But it's always risky. Yeah, it's your boy. It's
my
your
guy.
boy.
It's my boy.
Oh god. I do recommend trying out that splash, but be careful because I believe the splash only shows in between series or during a break screen. So currently the jar is not set up in game.
Yeah, don't quite have the overlays. I believe it was a thing where we were experimenting a little bit, but we kind of decided that, or we haven't really found a way to include the tip jar somewhere in game that also looks that it doesn't look too intrusive.
I think Kuro has the tip jar in game for her overlays, but I don't have them on mine, so I think that's something that I have to set up. I could be wrong. I would have to check like SDO VODs, but I think Kuro has it.
She was definitely at least experimenting with it a little bit.
Yeah. So we'll work on that.
We shall. As we get a little bit of deja vu here, both players going for Lingbane to start things off with. Not too aggressive, just to keep himself safe, just in case the other player is going for Ling Flood.
Oh yeah, yeah. We haven't seen any player in any of these ZvZs try and cut corners and go for a faster Roach Warren or go for 2 base play. We have seen some pretty standard play, some standard openers, I should say. Obviously, Cham just did something wild last game for that very committed Roach push to begin things, or to start things off, but other than that, it's been pretty standard.
Correct me if I'm wrong here, Light, as the actual Zerg player here, but I kind of feel like that was also a response to seeing Bioice take an earlier lair. Is that the case, or was Cham going to go for it regardless?
Oh, well, that's that's a good question. It is a good response to fast lair. I don't know if he was going to do it anyway, though. that's a Cham question, mate.
Yeah.
Because as you pointed out, like it's a good build to do on Jagannatha.
Yeah, if we had Giri's shoulder in the chat, they could probably ask Cham after the series, but
I mean, maybe a month ago, but Cham's in Guadalajara, maybe, isn't it?
Oh, true.
It's bad, man. No longer in the land of the core.
Or the ES.
As this time, both players are going for standard timed lairs. No one's going for a faster lair. No one's skipping their Roach Warren. They're both checking each other with their Lings. And again, I'm always very impressed with the amount of scouting that they can get done here. There was no wall. So Cham, he confirms the gases, confirms the tech.
Yeah, those Lings are sneaky from both players. Just somehow able to keep ahead of the Lings of the defender. At least a little bit.
Yeah,
get a little bit of information.
And information is everything in a game like StarCraft. Speaking of, mate, have you pre-ordered Age of Empires yet?
What?
Hey, it's coming out in like 2 weeks.
What?
Yeah, it's right around the corner, man.
I'll probably wait for a year to pass and
get
it on
a year?
a Steam sale or something. I'll get it in a Steam. I'll get it in like the Steam summer sale.
Hey, you know what you gotta do? You gotta put that phone money to good use.
Yeah.
Once it comes in, mate. That's how you do it. Don't get another goddamn piano. Don't.
I forgot to take a picture of my phone and send it to you.
Oh my god, shaking my head. Shaking my head.
I didn't pay for it though.
Oh god. But once again, Bioice going for that fast Spire. Or going for a Spire follow-up, I should say.
Yeah, both players getting their lair at about the same time, but of course the main difference is Cham is focused a lot more on getting +2 as quickly as possible. Both players getting Galaura Constitution at about the same time. Bioice is going to be getting that Spire once again.
Yeah, it's one of those things where Cham will have a much stronger Roach army, but will it matter? It probably will, because Roach Speed is about to finish up, and then Cham's just gonna pull the trigger. Bioice has a decent Roach army to contend against it, but still nowhere near as large as Cham's.
Not as large, not going to be as well upgraded. Burrow is on the way as well. So if worse comes to worse, we can't get a scenario where Cham just burrows out of there, if need be.
Yeah, exactly. Cham is going across the map. Meanwhile, once again, Bioice is trying to throw down as many spines as possible to defend his third base. But will the fight even happen at the third?
Oh, that we shall see. Cham is trying to bait Bioice out. As he goes in with a little bit of a multi-prong. The Mutas do reveal themselves, and there's nothing Cham can do. But there's not a whole lot these Mutas can do either.
Yeah, there's not enough Mutas, and there's not enough army here for Bioice. Unfortunately, he split up incorrectly. He had too many Roaches to try and meet this counterforce, and now Bioice is getting pulled apart.
What a fantastic maneuver here from Cham. Is able to trade so much better. At least at the start of this engagement.
Yeah, exactly. 6 drones went down, but in the end, Bioice, with the defender's advantage, with the completion of these spines, he is able to just barely hold on. He may have the worker deficit, but you know what? He has Mutas.
Yeah, now he can make Cham be the one with a deficit.
Exactly. But is it going to be enough? We do have spores at home, but Tunneling Claws is about to finish up, so Cham will have the opportunity to counterattack once he is able to deflect this initial Roach push from Bioice.
Yeah, can't afford to pull the trigger too soon, but he does see the Roaches coming with his Overlord, so thankfully he did stay at home. And even produce a couple of Ravagers.
Oh boy, exactly. Ravagers are on the way. These overlords are getting picked off one after the other, so Cham, he's getting further and further in the dark. Still has a couple of active overlords, but not too many. Meanwhile, he's able to find the time to send out this hit squad. The roaches of Bioice backed off, giving Cham the room to do this.
Yeah, there are a couple of spore crawlers out, so at least there's going to be some detection, but are they actually in position? Yep, they are.
Yeah, there's one here at the third, there is one at the natural as well, and the roaches of Bioice are at home, so Cham, he has to wait for a moment when the army moves out before he can strike with his hit squad.
Yeah, unfortunately he isn't aware of that fourth base in production right now.
Yeah, that he is not.
There are a couple of spore crawls here, but other than that, the anti-air defenses are a little bit lacking for Cham.
Yeah, but two mutas get picked off, and finally, we have that hit squad. The fourth base is being hit, and at the same time, Cham is moving forward with his main army.
And he's trying to cut this in half! He's trying to fight Bioice while he's still split up. When it comes to his army, Biles connected a couple of roaches. Not too bad.
Yeah, exactly, but it looks like there's enough here for Bioice. He does push away the army, but he lost his fourth.
He did, in fact, lose his fourth. Some of those Biles do connect as well.
That they did. So Bioice came out worse there. Like, sure, he has a bigger army, he has more supply, but his economy just isn't really meeting that of Cham. Cham, who is saturating his fourth, slowly but surely.
Yeah, bit by bit. Meanwhile, the lair did finish up.
Oh!
I was gonna... That was a kill.
What?
Not a cancel. Very nicely done here by Cham. And yeah, I was gonna... I really thought that one tunneling burrow roach was gonna delay the fourth again, but nope, it got caught out. And I was gonna say, you know, Cham did finish up that hive a little while ago. I kind of thought he was getting it only for +3, but a lurker den is on the way, so yeah, he is looking to get to the next phase of his tech.
Yeah, exactly. The late game of ZvZ is Hydra, Lurker, Viper, mainly Lurker, Viper, to be honest. So we are getting there eventually. So far, we do have two massive roach armies, and Bioice does have the slight upgrade lead with Carapace, but not for much longer. Ooh, he catches a lot of roaches of Cham, though.
He does get such an importance around very, very early on. That's a nice little lead as the engagement continues. He maintains the high ground dominance. Cham is having a lot of trouble trying to break through.
Yeah, exactly.
But he does. And
Cham was struggling because he was in the middle of morphing in these lurkers. Finally, he holds on here outside his bases, but he's losing everything in his main. The lurker den!
He's getting so low before adaptive talents can finish up. There's no queens here to transfuse, and the lurker den goes down. These lurkers that Cham has, they're the only one that he's got.
Exactly.
And they're weakened.
They are weakened, and they are not going to be enough. 30, 40 workers have gone down. There are just too many roaches all over the place here for Bioice. Even though Bioice was stuck with Roach Ravager, he was able to outmaneuver Cham, get the high ground, and also hit at a very strong timing just before Cham had his lurkers ready.
Yeah, right in the middle of his transition. Cham has to pull the trigger right now to be able to really get anything done. But even then, I feel like his options are limited.
That they are. I mean, he's got borrowed roaches coming all over the place. Is it going to be enough? We have so many Ravagers for Bioice. Jesus Christ.
He definitely needs to be careful when it comes to his lurkers. If he's able to draw the Roach Ravagers into a choke point, then I can absolutely see Cham turning this around, but that's a massive if!
Exactly. The lurkers are finally coming into play, but oh, a couple of the Hydras are going to get picked up. Oh, they were left so exposed.
And Cham is definitely trying. He is trying his darndest to just draw Bioice into a compromising position, but Bioice ain't falling for it.
Yeah, exactly. Bioice, he rotates around towards the north. The lurkers are still here, but they're going to go down. Oh my god, two of them get piled down immediately.
Beautiful, Biles. That's what happens when you don't have adaptive talents.
Ooh, only one lurker left, and now there is none lurkers left as all of them get taken out. It's only roaches left for Cham, and Bioice, he is doing it. He's going to be putting a point on the board and taking it to the ace match.
GG. very nicely done here for Bioice. That was the only opportunity I think Bioice really had when he went in and caught Cham mid-transition, because Cham was very much in control until that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Very decisive play for Bioice.
Oh yeah. Oh god, incredibly decisive there. Wow, what a game, what a series that we're having. It was honestly looking pretty rough there for Bioice because Cham was just all over the place with his roaches dealing all this damage. But it's always difficult to transition out of Roach Ravager. Always. Whether it's going into Hydras, Lurkers, Mutas, there's always a timing, and boy was that timing hit.
It was hit hard.
That it
now it's the ace match.
Yeah, now it is the ace match. Also, we did just get confirmation Jim Rising did take down a sub, but he didn't go down without a fight because it did also go to the ace match.
Oh, loving it.
I'm a little bit sad that we didn't get to cast it. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But it's fine. It's fine. We have this semis, and yo, I honestly wasn't expecting this series to go to the ace match.
Nor I. Bioice really showing us up.
Oh yeah.
As we conclude this. Okay, no, it's still awkward. As we conclude this series on 2000 Atmospheras LE, and Cham actually has his name in my screen.
Hey.
Bioice is still Asuna for some reason, but here in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, starting all the way in the bottom left-hand corner, the blue Zerg player coming out from the land of Mexico. He is, of course, going to be representing Team GP, as well as Sidestorm Gaming, apparently, in the NA server. We have Cham. La cucaracha.
It's because I wasn't fast enough with the flag for Cham. I wasn't fast enough. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres ALE, we have the Canadian Zerg player himself representing Sidestorm Gaming. It is Bioice.
I see how it works. All right. I thought somehow the Blizzard gods have worked in my favor somehow, but only for one player. Apparently, it was not the case.
Not at all. But yeah, at least now you have at least one of the names correct for yourself, so you don't get confused.
I'm still gonna get confused, aren't I? Because you know what it's gonna do? It's gonna be like, ah, yes, Cham, and that is Cham. In fact, that must mean that his opponent is in fact Asuna.
Oh god.
Oh.
Oh god.
Could be further from the truth.
It couldn't, mate. It couldn't. But we shall see how this series goes. Like, after what we just saw, like, mate, could go either way. We could be seeing a Jim versus Bioice finals, mate.
Yeah, Mexico versus Canada. Pretty neat.
Yeah, I mean, we have it here, but we could see it again.
Yeah, but this is a semi-finales, you know?
True, true.
Could have been the grande finales. Or it could be Mexico versus Mexico. Australia versus Australia. No, wait, it's not. No, wait, it's not Australia. Who is Mexico? Which play was Mexico?
You didn't even remember. We just had it. We literally just had it.
We did.
Was it Cyan?
It was Cyan. Yeah, it was Cyan. How do you remember it?
I don't think it was. I think Cyan was Chile, actually.
No, Chile was Battlebee, I think.
Oh no, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It's because I remember things, Yaku. God damn it. But yeah, we are slowly getting into this. Once again, the openers are identical to each other. We have seen time and time again, though, Bioice does prefer to go for his Spire play.
Yeah. Like, sort of comes to a harassment force, he doesn't really commit too hard to the Sky Zerg. Then again, does any player go Sky Zerg in the CVC?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe. So, I mean, if they find an opportunity to do it, they will. It's just, again, because Cham has been so aggressive with his roaches, I don't think Bioice has had the luxury to do so. Even in the last game, he only made a handful of mutas and then just went straight back into mass roach. Oh my god!
Oh, but Cham is switching things up this time with not just +1 melee, but also that Baneling Nest. How many lings, Light?
Many more. This is going to hit hard here for Cham. So a couple of things are going to happen. One, we of course have a mass Ling Bane composition here for Cham. Two, we have a lair. So Cham does have the opportunity to invest his gas into a Spire of his own to be much more committed.
Oh, he definitely could. I was thinking Baneling speed at first, Light, but that Spire does make quite a bit more sense. You don't want to rush Baneling speed this early on.
Yeah, I can't
be as useful.
I can't remember the last time I saw Baneling speed in a ZvZ, man. Not gonna lie. It has its place if you're up against Hydras, but there's a very small window where your opponent has Hydras and not Lurkers, because Lurkers do shut Banelings down at a certain point. But yeah.
Well, that's why you need to get Baneling speed so you can dodge the spines. Life hacks.
There you go. Just like Stim Marines, right? Just dodge the spines.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you
Mate. Yeah. You just don't run in. Just don't run into the lurker.
Yeah.
Run parallel to the lurker.
Exactly.
Or perpendicular. Not parallel, perpendicular.
Oh god. Meanwhile, there's that Spire for Cham, so he is going Ling Bane Muta. All the Lings are hitting now. +1 melee is still not done. Yo, the Baneling is about to finish up. Up.
And it's very close to all those Lings! It will get a very nice round, but here come the reinforcements for the side of Cham. +1 melee still a little bit of a ways off. Feels like a bit of an anti-timing.
It is. Here we go. 3, 2, and now +1 melee has finally finished here for Cham. But the roaches are already out, mate. Like, Bioice, he's defending his third, and now he's counterattacking, and the Spire isn't done.
But was this a false sense of security as Cham is making more Lings? There's a very real possibility he's able to isolate the roaches of Bioice from here, but he needs to see where they are.
Oh yeah, 100%, mate. I mean, these roaches are about to be surrounded. There are not enough of them to buffer right now to try and SimCity for each other. There's a surround!
Just like so, and the reinforcements as well are starting to get caught out. +1 really showing its power as it just chews through the roaches.
Yeah,
+1 range can't quite compare.
Exactly. Some Ravagers are going to finish up here, but the Ravagers are going to get cleaned up. In come reinforcing roaches, but they are so low from the earlier Lings. Cham. Oh, actually, Bioice cleaned up the Lings. Oh my god, the Ravager micro was good enough.
Yeah, I'm honestly really surprised.
Yeah.
Looked like a Pyrrhic victory for Cham, but might be a Pyrrhic victory for Bioice. Nope, never mind, Emilio, let's pop out.
Yeah, Bioice was able to get a single drone, but one drone is not going to be enough. Cham bought enough time for his mutas. Now Cham has the map control. He takes control of the entirety of this map, and Bioice, he's struggling to come up with a response to the mutas.
Yeah, scrambling to get spores in position, and he is defending his mineral lines pretty dang well, I gotta say. It's not enough mutalists for Cham to really overwhelm them yet.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's just trying to find some angles here and there. Does find a couple where he can harass the gas geysers, I suppose. Not much beyond that.
I mean, you say that, but like both gas geysers and 6 drones went down. More overlords are getting picked off here and there. Like, there's no creep connecting the bases, so even these roaches are exposed. Ugh.
Like so.
Even the Rocheborn itself.
Oh, yes. Right in front of this dead air. There's one Spore Crawler, but that is not quite going to be enough. The rest of them are trying to burrow, but they don't quite get it. Tunnel and Claws gets denied. And Roach Production gets denied as well.
Mate, that may be GG. Like, losing Tunneling Claws like that was Bioice's way back into this game. He's still going for a massive Roach run by, and maybe he can get a kill in the third base. He needs to at least get a kill in this third main.
I think he should at least be able to get it, but at the cost of his entire army, he's not going to be able to reproduce these roaches for quite some time.
Yeah, that he will not. Meanwhile, there is that bathing speed you were talking about. Yo, Cham was listening to the stream. He's getting it, mate.
Thanks, Pablo.
Meanwhile, the roaches here, I mean, they're getting a couple of workers here and there, so props to Bioice for dealing as much damage, getting as much value as he can out of these roaches, but there was a finite amount of that because the roaches do get cleaned up. Some of them managed to just barely escape, though.
Yeah, the burrow in here, waiting for the moment Cham gets that 4th base back up and running, so he kind of forgot about those.
Yeah,
Oh, now he knows. He sees the shade.
Does he know? Does he? Oh,
He knows. He knows.
he has detection here. Ooh, the roaches are forced on burrow. Meanwhile, that queen count is getting pretty high. We did have an infestation pit finished up here for Bioice, so he has the opportunity. He has the option to go for infestors.
Pathogen Glance is on the way, and that is one hell of a way to take yourself back in a series when your opponent is abusing Mutalisk this hard. One good fungal. That's all you really need.
It's difficult to land it, but if you can get it, then that is it. One fungal, and then it is so much easier to just chain your fungals from there. Can Bioice pull it off? Can he buy enough time? Because, mate, there are a lot of mutas.
There really are.
24, mate.
Problem. Apocalypse. Not quite an apocalypse yet.
How much is an apocalypse?
30.
30? Ah,
30
okay.
Problem is 10 plus. I don't remember what 20 was. Disaster? No, not disaster.
Oh god, maybe. I'm not too sure. We have to look at the infographic again. But these mutas, regardless, they are at least a problem. And it's a problem that Bioice doesn't have an answer to yet. More gases are being picked off here and there. But Cham hasn't found a way into the base yet. So because of that, the infestors are coming out.
And they are just biding their time. Pathogen Glands did finish up. These infestors that are popping out are going to have plenty of energy in them.
That they will. Meanwhile, the mutas, they find their way into the main base. They're going to pick off a couple more gases, but I think Bioice is essentially all in at this point. He's just sending everything across the map.
Now, has Cham realized this yet? He should now. Can he get the infestors? Can he get the infestors? He is actually going to get the infestors! That was the big wave! Bioice turned this game around. Thankfully, he does still have a couple of them left, but man, oh man.
Bioice, please, porque 2 infestors get picked off for free. There are 3 left, but oh my god, soon there's going to be none left. As every single infestor goes down, only 1 fungal landed.
And it was a good fungal, but as you were saying, only 1 fungal with no follow-up. Cham just found the perfect opportunity to completely shut down Bioice's chances of turning this game around.
Oh my god, and with that, Cham swallows up the army. There's nothing left. There's only a handful of roaches here in the main bases of Cham, but they're going to be cleaned up. And the hopes and dreams of Bioice winning this series went down with those infestors.
Absolutely. Now he's still getting a little bit of damage done here with his Sun Claws roaches. 12 drones have gone down, but I mean, he's going to have to do a lot more than that, right? He has to take out those drones and deal with this army. And deal with the mutas in the sky. And a whole lot more from there. Decent fungal.
Yeah. Yo, the fungals are pretty good, not gonna lie, but we need a couple more here, and unfortunately the queen count was reset. If you recall, all those queens died. Without the queens, there's no follow-up to the fungal. There's no added DPS to hunt down these mutas.
Yeah, so Ravagers here either, which, you know, at least with Ravagers you can try to get some growth bios with the fungals, but
I also just realized that Cham does not have roach speed.
Well, he wasn't planning on going roaches this game.
Yeah.
His hand was forced.
It really was. And now the roaches are here. Even though they are slow, they are fast enough to run away with this game, mate. Like, the fungals are landing. This is great, but just the soup, it just doesn't lie, you know?
It really does not. Cham has doubled the army supply at this point. He's maxed out, as Bioice is barely at half supply. Fungals are landing, but as you were saying, there's just no follow-up for the fungals. It's basically wasted energy at this point.
Yeah, exactly. The 3rd base falls. G gets called, and Cham takes the series 2-1.
I just realized something I forgot to do this entire tournament because I'm so used to DreamHack. Cham will be the second finalist for Battle de Americas, going up to face Jim Rising, otherwise known as Jaime. But before that, we have a raffle.
Oh, mate, he's on it, mate. He's on it. He knows.
Yeah.
Just like putting on a slipper.